How come I was on the stage in the first place in this little theater? I was out of college, not doing anything. I didn't know what I was going to do. Quillicourt Studios was a new place in Omaha. They called it studios because that whole wall was a skylight. Very bohemian in Omaha. And I remember thinking about it, I went in, whoa, yeah. And this funny little red-haired Irishman, who turned out to be the director of the Playhouse, looked at me and then went up to a table and he took a book and he opened it and he found a place and he handed it to me. He said, "Read Ricky." Now, nobody ever had handed me a book and said, "Read Ricky" or "read anything else." So I didn't know what he was talking about. He didn't realize that I hadn't had it explained to me, so he sat down and he showed me. It was a published version of Philip Barry's You and I, and he says, wherever it says Ricky, you read that and I read that. I couldn't imagine why he wanted me to do this, but I did, and I don't know what it sounded like, but he must have been terribly hard up for a juvenile because I found myself cast. So I find myself in rehearsals, so self-conscious, because I was a terribly shy, self-conscious young man, that my head was just down. I remember my head was down like this, and everybody was sort of sitting around in a circle reading, and I finally raised my, I thought everybody was looking at me, you know. And I raised my eyes enough to realize they weren't all looking at me. They had their own problems. They were looking at the script, looking at the director. So eventually I, raised my eyes enough to look around. And I looked up there, and here's this grid that went up there, went way up into a lot of ropes. I'd never seen anything like this. And those are the things that I remember of the experience of playing Ricky and You and I, was a grid with a lot of ropes, was a smell of makeup, was the sound when the curtain was down before the curtain went up, when you were in place, you've been called to places and you're in place, and you can hear the audience, the buzz of the audience, and then the stage manager gives the signal to the electrician who starts to bring the house lights down, and that buzz, buzz, buzz from the audience starts to get quiet. I remember those things. I got emotional remembering it. God, this is what happened to me. I didn't want to be an actor. And the curtain goes up, and it's black until it gets up so high, and then you see the lights from the border of the balcony, I remember those things, physical things. I don't remember playing Ricky at all.